yeah, and yeah, I don't remember. Yes, sea salts. You know the influence of sea salts in ultraviolet radiation, and it was, well, yeah, it was difficult. It was hard, but it was completely different. You know, yeah, and I learned a lot. I thought, and I finished my PhD with very good marks because I love working with computer and making programs. I taught myself how to program in C language, and I could program like very huge computers and do a lot of calculations. I love that, you know, spending hours and hours like playing a video game. Instead of that, I was like making my programs to process data and taking measurements. I didn't like that, you know, because at the time I was having problems with my girlfriend at the time, and every time I went to the roof and measured the solar radiation, I was alone and thinking how I'm not happy with this girl, you know. So I tried to measure as little as possible. Okay, so it was different, and I learned a lot. I thought, you know, and then I went to France to work, and when I got there, I realized I didn't know anything about physics. I had to start from zero. You know, I had some things I knew, but they were like I didn't know where to put them, so I had to learn a lot. Yeah, my computer skills at least, I kept them, but I had to rethink everything. Okay, it was 2 years I spent in France, in Paris, working, and it was super nice. You know, it was like wow, it happened at the time. But the project worked. It was in the, you know, I was so happy. Now I accept it, but I was so happy and so proud because it was a project for the European Space Agency, and for me it was like, oh, come on, that's so nice. I'm so clever. Yeah, because I remember I failed during my degree, and now I was working as a doctor in physics in a project for the European Space Agency. So I think, okay, at least I got, you know, the redemption of how stupid I felt for years. And then I went back. When the project ran out of money, I went back to I don't know, teaching geophysics anyway. I went back to Spain, and I didn't like it. I didn't like going back because the project was so nice, and I didn't know, you know. Went back to the group of doing my PhD, and it was completely different now, because this idea of not knowing what to do, and I didn't like it. I wanted to work in a project, and you know, as before, and I couldn't. So it took me some years to find my way out, and in the meantime, I prepared to become a professor in the Spanish education system, and I had to study physics again, you know, because I prepared a topic, which was I don't remember the word now. I'm too tired. So is like a year, a full year of physics for chemists in their first year. So 1 year it was like 100, you know, I don't know how many hours, but let's say 60, 70 hours of class. I don't remember. And with that, the full year with problems, laboratory sessions, it's a lot. So I remember that day and say, oh, come on, let's see. I'm going to divide, you know, in 20 subjects, 20 units, and then I'm going to prepare each one, and it's going to be very nice. So, and I remember sitting down in front of a white paper, because I met an old man that told me, yeah, when you face a white paper is then when you really have to be brave, because you face what you know and what you don't. So I try to do it. And then with a white paper, I remember, okay, thermodynamics, one of my favorite topics in university, especially the lab, as I said before. And I remember say, okay, so I studied for a full year, my second year of degree, full year I studied thermodynamics, like 4 or 5 hours in the blackboard, and then in the lab, like spent like 30 hours in the lab, it was crazy, the amount of time. And I say, okay, let's see what I remember. So I wrote, okay, thermodynamics, and then say, energy is conserved, entropy increases, we can't reach the absolute zero. I didn't remember anything. So I felt so ashamed of myself, because I didn't learn anything during my degree. I forgot the whole thing. The only thing I knew was what I was doing in my research, and the basic things like optics, thermodynamics, electricity, magnetism, you name it, I went to a place in my brain that just crushed it and erased it. So I had to study to start from scratch, and it was very frustrating, because I wanted to be a professor, because I wanted to be to work in research, and is the easiest way in Spain. Okay, so I had to study physics, and again, the 5 years I had forgotten. I prepared myself during 1 year, 1.5 years, something like that, for this big exam, to become a professor. And I prepared the units. I remember one, it's haunted my dreams forever. This exam, how the hours I had to study and had to prepare and everything. And I remember, the same day, I wrote these things about thermodynamics, the things I barely remember, three sentences. But I remember all the curious things that the professor had told us. The day that he came to class with a broken teeth because he had played squash or something like that. I remember telling us about iridescence of ice due to, and I remember the optics professor telling us that one guy observed that here he had been giving his dog iodine because he was ill, and then the dog peed on the corridor, and then it was very dirty and didn't clean it, and then it got dried, and somehow the pee